welcome back to Happier at Work. I'm Heather Patterson. On this channel, you will find weekly tips to help you lead, build, create a work life that is happy. Welcome if you're new, and if you're a loyal viewer, thank you so much for watching. Let's dive in. I want to tell you about my first professional job and sort of this thing that I started noticing as I progressed through my career. So my first professional job was at a newspaper, the Lincoln Journal-Star in Lincoln, Nebraska. Yep, I was the girl who you called and you put your refrigerator in the paper for, or Labrador AKC. Yeah, that was me. I took ads, and it was a really great place to work. Lots of good friends I made there. Hi, friends. But one thing that I remember, and I don't know if it was the first day, but it was definitely within the first week, was this person was showing me around the office, and they pointed out this like really big, big, not like this, maybe like, I don't know, it was probably 8 or 10 feet long file cabinet. I don't really recall what went in that file cabinet now. This has been many, many years. It was probably client folders, but I do remember what they said. And they said, you know, this is whatever this file cabinet is for. But what's really important, this is where all the good food lives when we have our potlucks. And I was like, oh. and then they said, and we like to potluck around here. So I'm like, okay. And sure enough, they like to potluck. And boy, did I like to participate. My friend Joy made a divine 7-layer dip. If you're watching Joy, oh my gosh, I still dream of your dip. So fast forward, I go to another newspaper, this time in Denver. You know, we had our own little food area for potlucks, but it's really not something that I recall us doing all that often. From Denver, I moved up to Anchorage, Alaska. And again, another place where we do a lot of potlucks around here. And we had our own like special table that got brought out. We would put a tablecloth on it. And luckily we had people from all over and different ethnicities and just from different places around the world and different backgrounds. And you can imagine the spread that we had was amazing. It was so good. It got me thinking, like, what's with these newspaper people and all of their potlucks? And I just didn't really know. I hadn't had a lot of experience in other work environments. As it turns out, I ended up leaving that industry to pursue my career in HR and organizational development, what I do now. Ended up moving. I moved to Hawaii, right, as you know, and I got some exposure and experience into other work environments. And I was visiting with clients and had a new work environment. And sure enough, potlucks. Food is just everywhere. So at one place that I remember working, it was a larger office. We had maybe 70 to 80 people at the time. We had another big old file cabinet that served as the buffet line. And as the company grew, right, we had our expansion tables available. We had dessert table and poo-poo table and that sort of thing. Poo-poo is appetizer, in Hawaiian. So, and potluck. So if you're not familiar with the word potluck, I don't know why you wouldn't be, but maybe you're not. I looked up the definition because I was like, well, I'm so curious, where does this even come from? The definition, I'm going to read my note to you. It says, take chance that whatever is available will prove to be good or acceptable. To take chance that whatever is available will prove to be good or acceptable. So that is potluck, right? And then in the definition that I found online, it also meant like a gathering where people bring their own dish. So there you have it. If you weren't familiar, now you are. Back to that question. are potlucks a newspaper people thing? Well, after having some experience elsewhere, I realized no, it's not a newspaper thing. It's a people thing. It's a human thing. And that got me wondering, well, okay, so is this really like a valuable practice, or is it just an excuse to eat foods that we don't normally eat? Here's what I found. One of the most interesting things that I found is from National Geographic and a piece they did called Joy of Food. You explained in the article that the first hearth, like the first ever fireplace, was discovered. It's 300,000 years old, and it's in a place called Kesem Cave near Tel Aviv. So I hope I'm saying that right, but Kesem's Cave. So 300,000 years people have been gathering around and preparing food to share and exchange with one another. And I just thought, wow, this is part of our humanity. You know, we've been doing this for the ages. I think about other parts of history, right? So we're very familiar with the Last Supper, right? A time where people were gathering and celebrating, mourning maybe even. We know about tea parties and birthday parties. I also read in the article about the discovery expedition of the Antarctic for Midwinter's Night. The men on that expedition brought and prepared a very elaborate meal to sit around and come together. Think about it. For a lot of the important holidays and celebrations that we have with the people that we love, our family members and our friends, there's food involved. You see, food brings us together. It helps us connect. It helps us explore our backgrounds, our values, our traditions, where we come from. The potluck at work can, on the surface, seem like a waste of time, like an excuse for Barb to bring her amazing brownies, right? But in reality, it's a way for you to build relationships at work. And it's quick and it's easy and it doesn't really take a lot of effort. When you have those relationships, you have understanding, you have empathy, you have care and concern. And when you have that in the workplace, your productivity will increase, your innovation will increase, your drama will decrease, right? You'll be happier and your customers will be happier too. I want to challenge you this week. I want to challenge you to right now schedule your next potluck. If you haven't had a gathering around food, potluck or otherwise, right? Maybe that's not your style, but maybe you want to have something catered in, right? Schedule this next gathering around food. If you haven't had it in the last 3 months, make it happen, get it done. And if you just had it, get the next one on the schedule. Start planning something to look forward to. Now, maybe you're watching this and you're all in and you're like, yes, I'm gonna get it scheduled. But what are they gonna think of me? I'm feeling reluctant. Oh no, I don't wanna be looked at as dumb or silly. That's okay, just do a little recruiting, right? So forward this to a friend or to a boss or someone else and get some buy-in. Like, make sure that they understand that it's more than just an excuse to have delicious food, that it's good for your team. You might need to do that first. Don't worry. And hey, don't even worry what people think of you anyway. There's another video for that somewhere. Here's what I know. I know that you're here because you believe in being happier at work and you want to do something about it. See, being happy at work requires action. And potlucks are action. They're a powerful action that can help bring people together. So take some action and make it happen. Get it on the calendar. That's all I have for you this week, Happy Doer. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you found it helpful. Until next time, remember that being happy at work starts with you, and you can simply begin with a smile and a potluck. Thanks again, and I'll